Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I thought I would go out to the community orchard and check on the trees to see how they overwintered. When I did this last year, it was a total disaster. The rabbits had chewed all the trunks and branches of the trees and they just all barely survived. So this year we made sure they all had collars around the trunks and chicken wire around the lower branches, trying to protect them. Last year we had a lot of snow, and this year I think we had even more. So the snow level will be quite high, so the rabbits can go on top of the snow and then chew all those exposed branches. So we will see. So let's head out to the orchard and see if this year is good or bad, or maybe somewhere in between. Here we are out at the orchard and community gardens, First Nations gardens. Yeah, everything's looking pretty snowy. So the trees along the fence here, the pear trees and an apple tree, we wrapped those really good. We put old fencing around them really high, so they're fine. I'm more worried about the trees out in the spiral orchard, so let's go out there and have a look. So here I go. Let's head out there. The peach trees here seem okay. I don't see any rabbit chew marks on them. Yeah, it's going to be tough going to get out to the orchard here. I haven't been out here since fall. Beautiful sunny day today, and it's just going slightly above freezing. The first tree I've come across doesn't look good. You can see all the chew marks right down to the wood. That's not good. It was wrapped pretty high, but the snow's pretty high here. All the other trees look pretty good from what I see so far. But I'll go out and inspect them. Yeah, we wrapped them pretty high. The ones we could anyway. Now, this is tough going in the snow. It's pretty deep. You can see we wrapped them pretty high here with fencing. And that's all looking good. All the other ones, the wraps mostly are above the snow. And I think they're okay so far anyway. Winter's not over yet, but yeah, it's looking much more promising this year. I only noticed the one that was really chewed up. All the rest look good. So that's good news. I think we'll have a promising year in the orchard this year. I did a moderate pruning on all the trees, so this year we should get a fair amount of fruit on them. The other years I took them back pretty hard because the goal is to keep these trees to a height where you can pick the fruit off them without a ladder. So yeah, you have to do some pretty severe pruning to them every now and then. So this year, yeah, a light pruning. So the goal is to get fruit production. And yeah, everything's looking good. So this is very promising. It was really only that first tree I came across that had chew marks on it. Yeah, so this is good. Good news. It's not as devastating as it was last year. Last year, I think 70% of them got really badly chewed. And most of them recovered, and those that didn't suckered up from the base of the trunk or the rootstock. So we'll get some kind of a fruit tree from them. It feels unbelievably warm out here in the sun. The wind's died down, and yeah, it's pretty nice. They never did get the greenhouse finished. It's still just the bare frame there. The end wall has to be finished, and the front wall and covered with plastic. And I think they have another 2 greenhouses to put up, so they'll be busy this summer. You can see the storage boxes over there where they keep all the tools and equipment. The community gardens over here, and everything's just put to bed for the winter. No work on the plots or anything yet. You can see the wraps on the peach trees here are still just showing above the snow. And those wraps are pretty high. So that's good, at least they're protected still. And I don't think we'll get much more snow this winter. I don't think it'll build up like it
was. We may get, you know, some snowstorms, but I think it'll be pretty good. And all the snow that's here, as the sun beats down on it, the level should drop slowly. Yeah. All the cedars out there in the First Nations garden, they all look pretty good. There's no brown trees, which is good. They're all green. Yeah, I'm very pleased. So far, you know, touch wood, right here. Everything's going well this year.
That was a relief, seeing all the trees in the spiral orchard safe and sound except for that one. So today I thought I would work on some trees in the poly house. I tried this morning to get out my sugar maples that I grew from seed, but they were frozen to the bench, so I'm hoping now the sun's out that I can get them free and prune them up for spring. So let's head out to the poly house now.
Okay, let's see what's going on in here now. So it's pretty snowy in here. You squeeze through the door. So these are the Freeman maples. They're kind of a cross between a silver maple and a red maple. And behind it is the sugar maples. And they were frozen, so let's see if the two pots are frozen together. Let me see if I can get that free. I'll just set the camera down here. Well, they're not iced on the bench anymore, but they're frozen together. I don't know if I can get them apart or not. There's two like seed trays here, and oh, they're just frozen together. Yeah, they're not coming apart either. Well, I don't know what to do. Maybe get some of this snow off so they can thaw a bit. They had quite a pile of snow on top of them. Yeah, they're just frozen together. All right, well, we'll let them sit for a bit longer. Maybe they'll thaw out a bit. Yeah, they're just frozen. There's a few other trees out here. I don't know if I can get them free either. You see how much snow came down from the roof that caved in. Yeah. There's a few other trees out here, my poplars. I could prune those up. I've already pruned my Amur maple. And the red maple, I was just going to leave it. That's the one that has that sort of disease on the trunk. Not sure what I'll do with that. So maybe I'll bring the poplars into the greenhouse and work on those. They're not frozen.
Here is a look at the poplars. So I have a smaller one here and a larger one. And the larger one, it divides into kind of a twin trunk. And there is a bud that's alive on that shorter one. But it's certainly not as vigorous as the main trunk, which goes right up to here. Yeah, it's pretty tall. The shorter one is looking good. It's getting quite nice branching on it. It's fairly equal, the balance of vigor on it. I do have, you know, one thick leader coming up here, which is all right. Yeah, so I'll prune these up today. I'm going to start the pruning by reducing the height of the trees so they're not shooting up close to the ceiling. So, on this tallest trunk line here, I've got an outward facing bud here, there's a bud here, there's a couple of buds here. I think I want this bud to develop, but if I prune it just above that bud, it may die back and kill off that bud. So I'm going to prune it a little higher, a little safety. You can see some of the stubs from previous prunings, you know, they died back a little, but not too bad. So yeah, I definitely want this bud to develop. So I'm going to prune it off to here. So here I go, the tallest branch gets pruned off. Looks nice and green, the cut. This branch coming out, there's a good outward facing bud right here. There's a bud here and here. These buds are stronger than this one, but this is still a good bud. So I think I'll prune it here. Again, you know, leaving another bud above the one I want to develop just in case I get dieback. Then I've got a division here of this trunk line. Again, I'll want to prune it back. I'm just trying to decide where. I think, you know, this is supposed to be my main leader. It's the continuation of the branch line or trunk line. This one took over as the strongest one. So I'll prune this one, I think, to here. Cutting it off. And this back branch, I'll look for a bud on the outside. There's one back here and here. One here. I'll prune it up to that one. Taking the tip off. And then the rest are fairly compact, so I'll prune those up next. And I will seal all these cuts. So let's keep working on the largest tree here. This branch has been pruned, that one's been pruned, these top two have been pruned. I haven't pruned this one yet, so I'm looking. There's a good bud on the outside here, so I'll prune above there. Like that. I won't touch this trunk line. Hopefully it'll survive. You never know. I've only got the one shoot here with buds on it, so we'll just leave that be. So now I can prune up the smaller tree here. So this shoot here, I've got a downward facing bud here, so I'll prune it off to there. This one I'll leave. I'll prune the stub off from last time I pruned it. There's a good bud there. The dead branch here I can prune away. The stub I can prune away there. Another stub here. And on this tree branch, I think I'll just prune away the tip bud. Like that. This one, it comes up. I've got a stub here I can prune away. I've got a good bud here. I've got another stub here. And it's a good strong tip bud. I think I'll take the tip off this one. I've got two good buds down lower. This branch, I've got a good outward facing bud here, so I'll prune just above there. This branch, I got a good outward facing bud here. I've got a branch forming here. I think I better prune it back to that good bud there. Well, is it getting too long? Probably. Yeah, I better prune it back to that bud. And then, in the apex, I have a stub here I can take off. Another dead stub here. A stub up here. Yeah, this branch is good. This one's good. This one's getting a little tall. I will take it off here. And this one, I'll take it off here. Okay. I think everything's pruned up. I got a stub here. I'll remove. Just looking for other stubs from previous prunings. I think this branch is dead here. It's a different color and it looks shriveled up. Oh, I've got another stub up here. Let me get that one removed. Fairly big one. There. Oh, and there's a stub here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this branch is dead, but I'm going to leave it just in case. It is a nice branch. Okay, let's step back and have a look at the trees. Here is a look at the trees. I think on this tree, you know, the front would be somewhere here because the trunk's kind of coming forward a bit. On the other tree, I think maybe
somewhere in this view would look quite nice. So I just need to have a look at them and see how they're doing style-wise. There's not much style in these. Yeah, I think the main tree is fine. I could go lower on that one branch. I left a bud up here, but I'm worried that this bud will develop and this one will die off. So maybe my, thoughts of keeping a few extra buds above, I'm not sure if that's going to work on these. It might, but well, let's try it. If this one comes out in spring and is, it should be really vigorous, then I can prune it back and develop this bud if it doesn't pop out into a branch. And I think the styling of the other tree is fine. I think these trees, I'll just let them grow and just see what they turn into eventually. Yeah, they're kind of an unusual tree to grow as a bonsai, so we'll see how they do. I will seal the cuts up though. I better get out my rubber cement here and start sealing. It seemed to work. Like I did a big cut here and here, and I sealed it up with the rubber cement and healed over really nicely. I'll show you a close-up of that. Here's a close-up of some of the wounds. So you can see the rubber cement in the middle, and then it's callousing around it. This one's still sealed. The wood's in good shape. The one above also. Yeah, it seems to work quite well, the rubber cement. And if I had access to, nice cut paste and it was affordable, I would get it. But, in my city, there's no bonsai stores or anything. So I use what I can get that works. Let's say with my soil, if I had access to really nice Akadama soil, I would probably get it if it was affordable and available in my city, but it's not. I'd have to bring it from at least an hour's drive from here, maybe a little more than an hour to get it and bring it back, and it is very expensive. And if I only had, 20 trees, maybe I would try it and it would probably work quite well, but with the amount of trees I have, anything you can do to reduce the cost of growing your bonsai and it still works is a good thing. If it doesn't work as well, then I wouldn't use it, but both my simple soil recipe of perlite and turfus and rubber cement for sealer seems to work really well, so I'll keep using it. Okay, so those trees are all done. I'm going to leave that in here, let the soil thaw out, and then I'll give it a good watering before I put it back in the poly house for the rest of the winter. Here's a look at what I pruned off the poplars today. So a lot of long whippy branches. Yeah, so they're all pruned up, ready to grow for spring. These poplars are thirsty trees, so in midsummer they use a lot of water. So I put a tray of water underneath and fill it up in the morning, and they use that water in the hot afternoon. And then by the evening the pot's fairly dry again. So that works quite well. These trees are a pioneer species. They grow in poor soil. They grow fast and they're short-lived. And when I say they're short-lived, they'll grow for 60 to 80 years. So that's, for a tree, that's a short life, but for a bonsai, that's a pretty good life. If you get 80 years out of a bonsai, that's a pretty good life. So that is all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.